Welcome to Show Me Something Wrong.
For each episode, one of us chooses a movie to watch that the other hasn't seen. The movie is often obscure, usually odd, and always wrong. I'm Guy.
I'm Dave.
And today is my turn to choose the movie, and I have chosen Writhing Tongue, aka Furueru Shita. Before we get into the actual nitty-gritty of the film, so last time, Dave, you were nice enough to choose Mad Foxes, which was a fantastic, great fun film. Lots of opportunities for laughter, what the fuckery. It was like great times throughout, and I feel like as soon as I recommended this film, I thought, what the fuck have I done? I feel like I threw you straight into the deep end and chose the most upsetting, trauma-inducing film I could possibly think of off the top of my head.
It's a big tonal shift from last week, but I'm still excited to talk about it. I'm sure we'll find something to laugh about.
Depending on how dark your sense of humor is. So Writhing Tongue is a 1980s Japanese film. It is not a horror film. It is actually a drama. It was billed as a drama. And it was often regarded as the drama that is more horrific than most horrors.
Right. I was interested to know why this was made.
That is a great question.
I don't know if you know anything
I do know
that.
this, and it will make the whole film that much more horrific.
Okay, all right. Oh no, I've got a bad feeling of where that's going. Okay, all right.
But as well as it being known as the drama more horrific than most horrors, it is also known as being the most trauma-inducing film in Japan.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
And actually, if you go onto Google and search Furueru Shita, the Japanese title, the next suggestion from Google, the following word that comes out is trauma.
Really?
So it is actually, it's a famous film, famous for having traumatized the nation when it came out. This is actually based off of a novel by Miki Taku that was released in 1974, so 6 years before the film was released. The reason why this guy wrote this novel was because his own daughter actually got tetanus.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was wondering because it felt very personal.
So I should have mentioned that before. This film, in a sentence, is about a young girl who contracts tetanus. Based off the novel, the same name, and the author's daughter contracted tetanus. And this is kind of his, I don't know what you want to call it. It's based off true events to some degree.
It's interesting because when... We'll get into it in more detail, but... At the beginning of watching this, it kind of felt like, in a very dark way, like a public service announcement, kind of a warning sort of film. But then I think, for a lot of it, I'm like, why the fuck did this get made? Like, why? Who is this for? Because it's so horrendous and it's so hard to watch. But then by its end, it's actually, I mean, we can talk more about how we feel about it later, but by its end, it kind of made sense to me. Yeah. And it's actually quite brilliant, like the film.
Sure. But it does not withhold anything. It packs a lot of punches, and as I said, it does feel very personal. And the reason being is because it is based off a real story. But before we get into that, so tetanus. I mean, I don't know about you as an Australian, but when I was a kid in England, tetanus was always like this almost like a boogeyman-esque fear lurking around every corner. And I remember anytime you'd cut your hand or finger, like anything, anytime you had a cut, everyone would be like, go wash your hands, you might get tetanus. And it was like this thing, it was like this fear, as if like, if you cut your hand, there's just tetanus is lurking around, it's going to get in you, it's going to fuck you up. Not that I had any idea what the hell tetanus was when I was a kid, but I remember there was always like this fear of it. Was that similar to you in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, even like not only as a kid, but even as an adult, I remember like stepping on a fish hook. I can't remember how that happened, but I remember stepping on a fish hook and instantly having to go to the hospital to get a tetanus shot because it's like a dirty, rusty fish hook. And my only knowledge of tetanus was the lockjaw aspect of it, and just the fact that it was so deadly as well. So yeah, like the idea of lockjaw is so horrifying, and I remember as a kid being just terrified about having that happen to me. Yeah, having that experience. So yeah, it's definitely got the same kind of, you know, reputation and like horror to it in Australia. Yeah.
That's good. It's good to know. I just thought I was born up in like shitty London, like it's like tetanus wherever you go, like dirty streets.
No, yeah, I think it's everywhere. I guess every country has that. Yeah.
I don't know, all the kids in England, you know, we grew up changing the fog lamps and the cleaning the chimneys, you know, who knows when we're gonna get tetanus. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into it then. So the opening scene, beautiful, dreamy, lovely color grades, like it's all deep blues and purples, shot in the lovely slow motion of a young 5-year-old girl, Masako, playing in a marsh outside of her apartment, catching butterflies. And very innocently, she cuts her finger, and then we cut to the title screen.
It's a great opening.
It's
the whole opening sequence is so beautifully shot. Have you seen much else from the director?
What was it? He did Hatsukatamura. What's that? The Village of the Eight Graves.
Okay.
Or Eight Gravestones or something like that.
I haven't seen that.
It's a really famous image of this guy. It's been adapted so many times, and it's a guy. You may have seen the image. He has like a headband. He has 2 like candles kind of attached to his head, and he like massacres this village. And the same director did that as well. But that's the only one of his I've seen apart from this.
Yeah, this is the first time watching one of his. But yeah, there's a few of his films I was aware of, like Castle of Sand. I've heard it's pretty amazing 70s film, and I've heard a lot about The Demon. That's like next on my list to check out.
The Demon. Sounds good.
Yeah. It's just beautifully shot, that opening. And yeah, like one of my first notes about this was just like the incredible score.
Oh,
it's so good. It's kind of, I wrote down the words gurgle synth.
What the fuck is gurgle?
I don't know. But that was kind of the vibe. It was like this gurgling synthy sound. Yeah, but it's just like this really cool score by, I wrote down his name, Yasushi Akutagawa.
Oh, yeah. Well, why do you say so sooner?
Yeah. No idea. Incredible score. Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, that lovely opening scene. Then we cut to the opening credits, and it's all like Bach. Like the classical music gets played a lot. So again, with the opening scenes, the classical music, there's never that horror feel to it, which is also very important. It doesn't feel like cheap or dark or shock for shock's sake. But anyway, post credits. We're in the girl's apartment. She lives with her mum and dad, and then they're just having they're having dinner. It's just a very casual run of the mill dinner scene. But straight off the bat, the girl Masako is acting odd. We're talking about a 2-hour movie, right? And we're like
straight into it.
2-3 minutes into it, and already she's acting a bit off. She can't hold her fork properly. She doesn't want to eat. She goes to the bathroom, and when she comes back, her legs are all like bandy. Right. She can't walk properly.
Yeah. And the dad kind of thinks that she's just sort of not joking around, but kind of, you know, being, you know, childish in some way, and he's kind of getting annoyed at her, which is really unsettling, I think, because you know what's coming up. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that's already, it's such a disturbing story because she's so young. I don't know how old she is, but
I think she was 5
years old or something. But she obviously doesn't have the, you know, capacity to explain what's like. She doesn't know what tetanus is, right? No. So she can't explain that as to what's happened.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
So she comes back with this like weird like bandy leg walk, and the parents like the mum picks up. She's like, you know, what's wrong? She's like, you know, stand up, walk properly. And being a kid, like you said, can't explain. She's like, yeah, I can walk. I just don't want to. Which is typical kid stuff. It's great. It's like, I can do it. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
And then there's like maybe a very slight passing of time, and the kid's gone to bed. The parents are chatting, and all of a sudden we get the most horrific scream coming from Masako's room, and the parents run in. turn on the light, and she has blood gushing out of her mouth. Her jaw is clenched shut. Her parents run in, hold her down, try to like pry her jaw open. There's just blood foaming out, and her jaw is completely clenched. And they get their fingers in, try to like pry her jaw open. And I mean, like we said, she is a tiny, tiny 5-year-old girl. They got these two, and the dad's a big guy as well. And the two of them just trying to pry this poor kid's mouth open. But straight from the bat, that scream. And by this point, again, we're only like 7 minutes in.
I think it does like that scream. They do a little kind of weird mix on it as well to kind of make it sound a little bit electronic as well. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't pick up on that.
But it like distorts it a little bit and just has it echoing just a little bit, making it really nightmarish. It's just very horrific.
It is a terrifying scream, but that was to turn on the lights, and she was like, it's horrible.
And honestly, like from that moment, I was just blown away by that kid, because that is gotta be one of the best like child performances I've ever seen.
I would 100% agree with you.
To the point of like, I don't even understand how they managed to get her to do certain things. It's so realistic. Her reactions, it never ever feels like a kid play acting. It always just feels 100% real. It's very, very upsetting to watch.
Very unnerving. Her, and they say like never work with kids, and her performance is second to none. And you hear like those backstories, like when there's other child that's like Exorcist and stuff, and you got what's the name, the director standing around with a milkshake to make sure Linda Blair's all right after scenes and stuff. I bet this girl didn't get an ounce of that kind of kindness, and she went through fucking hell to do this role. Yeah,
I do wonder what this was like to make. There are certain moments in it, later in the film where it feels too real. Yeah, too real. Some of her reactions, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah. So the following day, they take her to... it's straight away. They take her to the hospital. Doctor's a piece of shit. He says, can't do anything. Go somewhere else tomorrow.
I think also, at some point here, they also mentioned that she had been taken to the doctor prior to this as well. And I don't know how much of this was me putting my own experiences in Japan, but I do... Even though the film later on actually has a really kind of positive view of experience in the hospital in a way, even though it's obviously a nightmare, but like the staff and the doctors. However, these like early scenes really got under my skin because the kind of dismissive nature of the doctor, and the doctor they mentioned previously is very much my experience in Japan. I hate to say it. I've got a great doctor now, but like I've had as an adult that experience of that kind of dismissive attitude, and I don't know how much of it was a comment or if that's just a universal truth that happens with difficult to diagnose diseases, but it felt very, very real and very made it all the more upsetting. Absolutely. Having that. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm in the same boat as you. Yeah, it's very frustrating going to a hospital or doctors in Japan. 100%.
And someone just telling you, oh, there's nothing wrong with you.
Just go home.
Yeah, go home. Oh, but what about, how come I can't hear? This is a real story. How come I can't hear out of my right ear? Just go home. There's nothing, we checked it. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, this one, it's probably just like hay fever.
Yeah. It's in your mind. It's in your head. You get that a lot as well.
So they send her back home. Parents try other doctors. They take her to a new one in the morning. New doctor. And then the other doctor, he blames the dad for his strictness on the kid, and says judging by the bite marks on her fingers, probably due to stress from her dad's strictness with her, and that it's all psychological. Typical Japanese stuff. It's all psychological. It'll be fine. But again, we get that whole like very childlike thing. I can do it, but I just don't want to. She hasn't eaten. She can, but she don't want to. She can't open her jaw. And they said, how long's your jaw been shut for? So it's been like, what, two days by then? Yeah. Open your jaw, Mask. She's like, I can open it, I just don't want to. But she's like talking through a clenched jaw. But it's great that holding on to the innocence, but it's all that prelude of all the horrors to come. This is when like the actual doctor starts to suspect something. And goes the very long scene of all the medical tests they run on her.
Yeah. That was a very upsetting sequence as well.
It's really horrible for a number of reasons.
All the test sort of stuff is kind of, that's the first sequence that feels unnervingly real, and the experience of the girl, it just feels like they just told her like these are real tests. I don't know, her reactions and are just so genuine in this. It's very
well. That's it. They would have been in a real hospital, used real equipment, probably done real medical procedures to a certain extent. They did the X-rays. They had her hooked up to various machines and things, and they stabbed her with various needles. How much of it was real and how much it was fake, we don't know. But yeah, her reactions when she's getting like needled, like you can feel the pain there, and it's a really unnerving score during that point as well. The doctor then suspects tetanus, or what's the other, meningitis, was it? Yeah,
I think they're the two options that he gives,
and this is when the doctor tells the dad that it could be tetanus, which has a 1 in 20,000 what's
chance
that?
Of survival? Is that...
It's 1 in 20,000 people get it, and it has a very high death rate.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Because I was like, wait, 1 in 20,000 survive? I was like really baffled by that, but I think I just didn't pay enough attention to it.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Yeah. I looked it up after watching it, and I think it is like quite a shocking death rate. I think it's something. Oh, I probably shouldn't say this because I've already forgotten. But I think it was like 10 to 20% or something die. I don't know if that's accurate. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor. But I was really shocked at how high that death rate was.
Yeah, I think the doctor says like that X amount die in the first 2 days, I think the percentage gets higher or lower. It could be either one.
I can't remember which one. Yeah.
Anyway, you have a very high chance of dying if you get tetanus. And so this is where they basically create the room for her in the hospital. She is bedbound for the remainder of the film, but we're still very, very early in.
Yeah, it was at that point. I'm like, where's this film going?
Yeah, am I stuck in this hospital for the rest of this next hour and a half?
Yes,
and yes, you are.
But yeah, I was like, I can't really see how this is going to go that long, and I was kind of prejudging the film as well. I'm like, well, this is just too long. It's too long.
Yeah.
But it's not. But yeah, I was kind of worried at that point. Yeah.
So they set up the room for her to start immediate treatment. And some of the triggers for tetanus are things like bright lights, loud noises. These are things that can trigger seizures, clenched jaws, the whole lot. So they give Masako a private room. They black out all the windows, dim all the lights. And she's in this like confined room, but the fact that it's completely dark, they've shut out all natural light, and there are not all the scenes, but all like the heavy scenes, the remainder of those like big horror like scenes all take place in this dark, dingy room, which adds that level of uncomfortableness to the horror. Like if it was like a bright hospital room, it wouldn't feel as kind of grim, but it is just so dark. So it's like the doctor's like, yeah, we're going to start immediate treatment, so let's hope for the best. But yeah, we know that it gets a hell of a lot better, a hell of a lot worse. To add to the fun, this is where we find out that maybe when the mum and dad were trying to unclench Masako's jaw, she actually bit them on the finger. And this is where we find out that they may have also contracted tetanus.
It's in particular the father, like both of them have that stress, but the father, they remove his fingernail. Isn't that crazy? So he gets like bitten by her, and it's I guess infected, and they remove his fingernail. But like when we were watching it, I was like, oh, that must be a mistake in the subtitles. And Tana's like, no. My partner I was watching was like, no, they're removing his fingernail.
Yeah.
I feel like that aspect is unsettling in a different way because of the, I don't know, the especially the father, like his reaction to possibly having tetanus and the kind of weird sort of selfishness that he experiences is quite disturbing in its own way. Yeah, it made me feel a bit sick watching it. Yeah, it's brutally honest, this film, because I feel like that is what would happen.
Yeah.
You know, if he's got that same level of panic, he's kind of, his focus does shift to himself at times, and then we sort of experience his guilt as well. So yeah, that was that aspect of it really adds a layer of discomfort to the film.
So we have Masako in bed with tetanus now been confirmed. We have the mum and dad fearing that they may have also contracted it. So there's nothing good going on in this film.
Except the doctor who's been assigned to look after
Nose.
Nose. Dr. Nose. Dr. Nose. Yeah, she's like the sort of ray of hope in this film, and kind of when the film, you know, it's really presenting her as like the hero of the film. There's so many scenes of the father running out to get her to help out, and it gets to the point in the film where you're like, oh, come on, bring in Dr. Nose, bring her in. We need her here. She's like such a great kind of person. You always you as an audience you become reliant on her as well. If she's not in the scene, you're like, oh fuck, like
Masako's fucked. She's that going down.
There's one scene later where she's not there, and I was like convinced, I'm like, oh, we must be near the end. She must die in this scene.
Doctor knows she's got tetanus as well. We're all fucked. No, she's definitely the ray of light. She is the hero of the film. There's that aura of like hope.
I knew that actress from something.
Really?
But I looked her up, and there was nothing I'd seen with her in it. But I'm wondering if it's like she showed up in like a TV show or something. But did you recognize her at all?
Not off the top of my head. Proceeding with our lengthy hospital stay, there are many things that trigger Masako's seizures. Kids, we're in the child ward. The kids playing.
The child ward.
Isn't that what you fucking call it?
Doesn't it have a pediatric ward? Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
The child ward. Welcome to the child ward.
It's like Mad Max 3.
Yeah. So she's in the child ward.
Yeah, child ward.
Filled with childs.
Yeah. Kids running, screaming, playing with little like guns.
Little dickhead.
Little fucking cunts. Screaming, playing around. Masako has another seizure, and this is like I think the first one while she's hospital bound, and it's a big one. But it's that time where she lets out that horrendous scream. Like that is the most like chilling scream. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I think they play it again and again, like the same scream. Yeah. She bites her tongue, so again, blood pouring out. They come in, they sedate her, seizures calm down. And from here, this is where we get our first like timestamp. So from here, they introduce the timestamps because we're just in the hospital for the remainder of the film. And the way we show the time is through timestamps. After the first timestamp, there is just a massive compilation of seizures. And it's all like Exorcist crab walk stuff, like screaming, convulsing, blood.
It's horrific.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
It is absolutely horrible. And like we said before, props to that child actress who is just incredible.
Yeah, it's full on. And the constant prying open of her mouth, it never gets easier to watch with each time. Is it, maybe it's coming later, is the fingernail part to come still?
When was that? I'm not sure. Do you want to talk about the fingernail?
Well, there's one bit where I'm not really sure what's happening, but her finger is getting like cut open at a certain point.
There was that part, wasn't it?
I don't really, I guess it's like where the tetanus got in and it's like infected in some way, but there's just this horrific close-up of the finger getting sliced open. It's just, it's so horrible. Like, I think that's what I messaged you about, like the
the fun part. So we got our timestamp 2 days after hospitalization. Masako has not been eating. So what do? They bring in a meal for her. And the most unpleasant way to eat, they stick a tube up her nose.
Yeah. That's where we get the little prosthetic head in that shot.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So there's a shot of like a kind of dummy head, prosthetic head, the mouth sort of opening and closing, little puppet head,
right.
and the tube going up the nose.
Oh, I don't think I even realized it was I think I was
yeah. It's pretty horrible. There's also old mate Dr. Nose comes in with the bowl of goop that they're gonna feed her.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't even know what.
It's almost like maybe like milk. It's like some horrible like
Whitish,
liquid.
yeah.
Oh,
and she's
horrible.
like, "This is what we're gonna feed you." Like showing it to her. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It like anything up the nose, like.
Yeah, it's not nice. Yeah, her reaction to that happening to her is.
Reminds of that scene in Red Room with the toothbrush like up the nose.
Oh,
Anything up the nose is just so horrible.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Yeah.
It's really not nice.
Yeah, I've had one of those up the nose things.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was
What for?
It was a stomach camera.
Ah, I had one of those, but it was in the mouth.
Yeah.
When you had it go up there, you were awake when that happened?
Yeah.
Is it in Japan?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Were you like fully awake, or did they give you a sedative of some kind?
No, they numbed the back of the throat.
Okay.
But I was completely awake. But what they did do was they dimmed the lights and had a nurse rub my back.
Oh, that's quite nice.
I know.
Did I tell you about... It's an endoscopy, right? Is that what it's called?
Is that the bum one?
No, when they look in your stomach, that's a colonoscopy. No, I had the same thing as you,
All right.
but my one was in the mouth. Have I never told you that story? So for me, they gave me like 3 options.
Oh no!
So they're like, all right,
Wait, what's the third?
so no, not like up the nose. It was like in the mouth or nothing.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't give me the nose option, but they were in terms of sedatives.
Oh, okay.
They were like, all right, number 1, we can knock you out. You'll be asleep, but you're gonna be woozy for the whole day. I'm like, nah, fuck that. That sounds shit. I think I had to work that day or something.
Right.
And then the second one, they're like, all right, we can give you like a little sedative, make you feel kind of all right. Make you feel,
a little good.
Yeah, a little bit good. Or you can go in raw. I'm like, well, obviously I'm not going to go for that. I'll go for the slight sedative. But sorry, this is quite a long tangent, but I imagined the camera in the mouth. I just assumed it would be a very small thing going into the mouth, like a very thin kind of thing. Right. It was not.
It's fucking massive.
So I was like lying down on my side, a nurse holding me in place, and then they bring out the thing that goes in the mouth, and it was like dildo sized, and they're just shoving it in my mouth, like deep throating my mouth with this endoscopy thing, and I'm like, oh, like, and they're like, it's fine, but then they also had like the video screen just like playing the footage from it, so I'm like, getting gagged by this giant dildo while watching my own like stomach on the screen.
Brilliant.
Oh man, that was fucked.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. But I'd still prefer that to the nose.
The nose was fucking grim.
Yeah.
It was grim.
Oh, I don't want to experience that. No, thank you.
No. At least it wasn't dildo sized. It's only so wide the nostrils can stretch.
A very small dildo.
So yeah, back to the films. Anything nose related, like I mean, just having that tube up the nose. I think it's probably due to my own past trauma.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Yeah.
probably why I couldn't watch that. Force-fed milk up the nose. Then
Just milk.
I don't know fucking what it was. Parents start showing some symptoms. I think that's when the dad starts to, probably due to paranoia.
Yeah.
He's like looking at himself in the mirror. He's trying to move his jaw, and it's all starting to kick in.
That is very like body horror-esque, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like his kind of paranoia, and that moment where he's like staring into the mirror is very unsettling.
And it's starting to look like run down and a bit like he hasn't shaved in a while. Everyone gets a little bit wild. Yeah. We have another like convulsion compilation. Lots of blood, bloody mouths, and
lots of bloody mouths.
But it's like really like close up.
Yeah,
like they get right in there and she's like kind of like foaming through the teeth. It's very, very disturbing. And then the injections don't stop the convulsions anymore.
Are we getting to the rectal?
We are getting to the rectal.
Oh god, that scene was. Yeah, it's like, the injections don't work, so we're gonna have to give a rectal sedative,
like anesthetic or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking hell. Like, and
it's brutally clinical, this film, where it does not shy away from any of the details. It is just laying it out for you exactly what happens in this situation, and that includes a rectal sedative or anesthetic
on a fucking poor 5-year-old kid.
It's I mean, it obviously doesn't show like any graphic detail, but it's like we see the scene.
But it's enough.
We know what's happening.
It's enough,
and it's really horrible.
And you see the poor girl's face and stuff like.
It's awful.
And you got to think, like, at what point did someone think, "Well, this is a crucial scene to put in a film"?
100%.
And to what point was the child actress's parents thinking, "Oh yeah, I'd like to have my 5-year-old kid in this, have a rectal aesthetic."
It's interesting though, because I agree, and I did think that at that point, but by the end, I felt like I understood the choices it made, and I think without that stuff like that, not just the rectal scene, but like all of those kind of fucked things that it shows, I think it does ultimately make a certain kind of sense by the end.
So by this point, we've had a very long, exhausting few sequences, and then we have a massive tonal shift, which is almost like a dream. It's a dream sequence essentially, and we're back to the front of the apartment. Masako's playing in the mud, and her dad is there trying to save her. So he's so paranoid about being infected with tetanus himself. He's having these dreams and like delusions of him just trying to save his daughter. But then, like you said before, like he's so kind of also concerned about his own sickness that the dream sequence also shifts to focus on him, because she bites him in that sequence as well, and it's the focus of the scene, it becomes. But yeah, again, it's that lovely blue slow motion with purples and the butterflies flying around, which is a real breath of fresh air after that like horrible dark hospital room.
Is it before that point or after where we also get his sort of flashback dream? Maybe that comes a bit.
That comes later. So there are two.
Yeah.
But that second one, I think, explains what you were saying about the dad and why he's so like fixated on himself.
Yeah, we see kind of like a flashback to his childhood where he had blood poisoning, and it kind of adds some sort of backstory to his paranoia as well.
But again, that sequence is beautifully shot. And it's all that weird like blood rain falling out like outside, but like kind of like CGI blood rain. But it has all these like beautiful colors. And it's very dreamlike.
Is it also at this point that the mother is like obsessively documenting everything that's happening with the daughter? Oh man, that's also deeply disturbing. that obsessive compulsive documenting, which also comes into the dream sequences. We see flashes of her kind of like documenting of the every convulsion that her daughter's having.
So how long the medicine is lasting for, how long between siege and stuff. She has this like whole like diagram and like key coded. That's very like extremely obsessive. It's the only thing she can like concentrate on in this time. We enter day 3. This is when it's lunchtime. The lunch trays are going throughout the hospital, down the corridors. And they're on one of those trolleys.
We're getting to the worst bit in the film, aren't we? Yeah,
it's not a good bit. Anyway, as I said before, sound being one of the stimuli for seizures. One of the trays falls off the trolley. She goes into full-on seizure mode. What they do, the doctor... It's not Nose, is it?
No.
Where's Nose in all of this?
There.
Where the fuck was Nose?
Well, she's seeing, like, outpatients. Yeah.
Where was she?
Well, I mean, she has other patients, guys.
Yeah, but we're not watching their movie. Masako, once again, she is frothing blood from the mouth.
It's a real bad one.
It's a bad one.
Yeah.
And Doctor, not Nose.
Yeah, some
prick.
Some
with a fucking
moron.
knife.
Yeah.
He asks the dad if she has her baby teeth or adult teeth.
He's like, milk teeth? Gonna get new teeth? And the dad's like, yep.
So he takes the scalpel and proceeds to cut out all of Masako's teeth.
Yeah. It's not good.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like,
so
it's
intense.
horrible. And it's like a really, like, in-depth one. Like, you see them removing, like, the teeth from the mouth, and you got leftover teeth on her tongue and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, the comment that the tooth, like, on her tongue, oh god, it's awful. And the parents, I feel like this is, like, a real breaking point, especially for the mother. Like, her kind of trauma in this scene is really overwhelming. And she kind of... I feel like that's almost the point where she's starting to give up. She starts to give up on her daughter's survival, basically, at this point.
But so they remove the teeth, and they have that like pump to pump out all the blood, or it'll suck out all the blood and the saliva, and it all collects in that jar. And you just see it like splurting into this jar. It's all that like horrible pinkish foamy blood. And so Masako's there like now with no teeth. And you know, I mentioned that this was based on a novel, a real story. So that actually happened to the author's child. And they cut out, they removed all her teeth so she wouldn't bite off her tongue, is how it's documented. So yeah, all real fun stuff. If that wasn't enough, fucking Nose comes in, Dr. Nose. We think, right, Nose is here to save the day. What does she ask? Do you remember what she asked the dad?
I can't remember. What does she say?
Can we perform a tracheotomy?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was going to say, that must be around this scene.
Yeah, it's directly after, I swear.
Yeah.
So she can't breathe properly, so they ask, can we perform a tracheotomy?
Oh, that's super stressful. Where that eventually goes as well. Yeah.
and then so after they've removed her teeth, they immediately start prepping her for a tracheotomy to cut the throat to make it easier for her to breathe. And it's like that scene where you just start like holding your head. You're like, oh fucking hell, here we go.
Yeah. And then it's just before they're about to do it, right? It's halted by the senior doctor is like, no, don't do this because we can't have any more trauma, or it's going to have like a negative effect on it.
It could be like added stimulant for convulsions and so they called it off, but they're fucking inches away from like cutting the throat.
It's like they're about to do it.
So and yeah, like you said, this is the scene where mum she starts to like lose her wits. She's at the end of her wits. And then she just says, like, we're just prolonging the inevitable. Stop, don't touch her anymore. No more tests, no more injections. Stop it. She pulls a knife. She gets one of the scalpels.
That's right. Right after the near operation, they put her in an oxygen tent, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, which is really upsetting as well. It's just very upsetting, the oxygen tent. They can't touch her anymore. And the mother is like totally losing it at this point.
So she gets like a breathing apparatus installed.
Yeah, so just in her mouth, it's just this tube shoved into her mouth for the rest of the film.
And that's when you have the breathing noises.
Yeah.
She's like...
Oh, that's horrible.
No, man. So mum pulls a knife on Dr. Nose. She's like, I've had enough, don't touch her. She's already dead. You know, just let's leave her be. Dad slaps her around a bit, and then we cut to the next dream sequence where we know that the dad suffered from the blood poisoning, which then explains why he is so fucked up and paranoid about himself. And that really kind of like starts to be the thing that rips that couple apart as well, because they stop kind of trusting each other. Like the dad's kind of hesitant to like change her diaper or like see to her because he thinks that he's going to get tetanus again or something. The mum makes a comment on it. She's like, well, you never like touch her because you think you're going to get tetanus, right? You want me to do it so I get it and all. So they're at war with each other and fucking hell. Enter the fourth day.
I love how much clicking you're doing.
More slow motion. Everyone's running around. There's that slow motion. Everyone's looking. It's like, where's Dr. Nose? Running around. And that's when we finally see Masako in some sort of light. Because she's been relatively like hidden in shadows and stuff up until this point. And we see in a slightly light room. And she looks like death. Like she looks like a corpse. And that's when her heart actually stops. That
scene was probably the most upsetting scene for me, just because the parents are sort of watching their daughter die, basically. Actually, that's kind of the point, really. The kind of the final straw for the mother, right? From that point, it's almost like her daughter may as well have died in that scene. The way that she behaves after that. Yeah, it's horrible.
But that CPR that they perform, fucking hell.
I was wondering that. So they're like just like brutally CPRing this like little girl.
It's like a proper CPR procedure. Like they are properly hammering down on this girl's chest. And I can't remember which film it was I saw, but there's a scene where someone gets CPR performed on them and they get their rib cage broken in because it's performed too strong. And just watching that just gave me so much anxiety. I was like, it's too much. It's too You're pushing it too hard. I mean, we're supposed to believe, right, she's dead, but in real life, that is a kid, and you got an adult just like pummeling down on her chest. It is horrible. But they bring her back to life. They bring her back to life. But like you said, I mean, everyone's just given up.
Yeah, as you would. Honestly, like we've been through such a nightmare in this film. You can 100% understand the feelings of the mother at this point. Yeah.
And I think they both do. The dad agrees that like there's no hope. He sends them home to gather like important documents such as like birth certificates, any kind of like whatever financial stuff, so that when Masako is dead. And when the mum and dad are dead, all from tetanus, someone will be able to find all the necessary documents for like identification records and all that kind of stuff.
I think, is it before that the the grandmother shows up at the hospital
she does,
as well?
doesn't she? Yeah.
Because I found that scene really affecting as well. The father's mother, so the grandmother of the little girl, shows up, and just the hopelessness that is presented through her character. She can't do anything to help, and the scene where she comes up to the room and sees what her granddaughter looks like is just harrowing. Absolutely harrowing to watch.
Harrowing is definitely the right word for this film.
Could just say that to sum it up pretty much.
Harrowing. On the harrowinometer.
That'd be an awful podcast. Show me something harrowing.
Oh my god!
Just every week. Schindler's List next week.
Dancer in the Dark.
Dancer in the Dark. Oh god.
So mum goes home, cuts her hair off, which is funny. I wanted to ask about this. So I don't know what I'm going to ask. There's a thing which I'm not sure if it is primarily or exclusively with Japanese women, but I've heard from many people Japanese women cut their hair during big changes of their life.
Right.
And I actually first heard it years back. I broke up with my ex, and we was like, I can't do it. It's like we're done. You know, goodbye, sayonara. And she was like, I'm gonna cut off all my hair. And I was like, I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, it's like, you know, I have to cut off my hair now. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? I was like, why are you telling me this? She's like, you know, when there's a big change in my life, I have to cut my hair off. I was like, okay, well, you do you, like, but we're done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I heard from another friend. She divorced with her husband, and she had really long hair before that, and she cut it all off, like really, really short.
I do wonder, is it exclusively Japanese? It's very weird that you bring this up, because just today,
Your girlfriend cut off all that?
No. Just today, I had a conversation at my job where my Australian coworker was talking about if she would break up with someone, she'd drastically change her hairstyle, cut off all her hair. So I don't know. Is it like just an international thing? I don't know.
I don't know any women. I can't. But it's like, signifies change. It started something new. So it makes sense in a way. But it's just an interesting thing, which I was completely unaware of. I mean, I don't know anyone in England who did that. Never heard of it up until like a few Japanese people in my life had mentioned doing it. Yeah, bizarre. So anyway, mum goes home, cuts off her hair, I think as an acceptance of her daughter's death, essentially. It's like, then after that, it's strange. We have long periods of nothing really new. There's lots of dialogue scenes. Everyone's tired. The relationship between the husband and wife weakens. More of Masako's just like horrible breathing and blood splurting. And then there's like the scene of her dad talking to Masako in bed and talking to the virus itself as like, why did you take my daughter? And during this time, there's the effigy of the butterfly. It's like weird, like swirling butterflies like flying up above her head. You know, it occurs a few times throughout the film, which I also really love. I love that stylistic choice because it's, even though in the grimmest of scenes, you have this like luminous butterfly flying around.
It's quite an interesting film. Like stylistically, it's like mostly very stark, very bleak, you know, based entirely in a kind of gritty sort of reality. But then it does have those occasional stylistic flourishes, like the butterfly in his dream sequence, the bird as well.
Yeah. What's that about?
Strange. Yeah.
What is that about?
I don't know. That was a really interesting image though. And just the occasional kind of bits of that slow motion of him like running for Dr. Nose and stuff like that. So just having those few bits, they're really effective when they do happen.
So then, like I said, the kind of like the continuation of those scenes where nothing really new happens, and the couple decide to take shifts. You know, one of them goes home and sleeps while the other one watches over her, etc. And then is the first time the dad leaves the hospital since Masako was hospitalized, and that's a great scene. Because he's been in this dark room for the last, few days. And he leaves the hospital for the first time. He's all like shaggy and his beard grown. And just the sunlight is blinding. And he staggers home, hits the sake.
Yeah, pours that big drink.
Yeah.
Gulps it down, yeah. Also, at this point, the mother can't physically bring herself to come back into the hospital. The trauma is just too much. She can't go into the room to see her daughter anymore. It's just too much for her.
Yeah. and then do you want to say anything else before we get into the final like timestamp?
No, I think that's
it's a weird one. Like, I mean, I think it's an ending that will divide people because
I was relieved personally. By how it ended.
So he does his drink, he listens to the music, and then we cut to 2 weeks later. And then Masako's in bed. She's in a bright hospital room, so none of the windows have been darkened out. And she's talking again. She looks healthier, and it's like, fuck, she's better.
It's like the turning point. And actually, this is one of the moments where I was like, how did they get this girl to act like this? So when she's like suddenly got her appetite back and she wants a choco pan.
Yeah.
Like she wants like a chocolate bread. Right? Yeah. And she just, and like her desperation for it and the way that she's like crying because she's not allowed to eat like this bread. And it's just so real. Like, how did they get that out of that actress? Even though it's a scene that's like a really happy scene, even though she's like crying and whatnot, just because she's like, it's like a sign that she's getting better. But how did they get that performance out of her?
And it's like tear jerking. Yeah, and it's that massive sigh over her lid because everyone's given up hope. She's got no teeth. She's like looks like
she's got
death.
No teeth.
And the husband and wife, they're fucked now. And then it's just like, right, 2 weeks later, and she's like, I want to eat that choco pan, and she's like, gagging for the bread.
Do you know? So based on like I don't know if you know the answer to this, but the novel and that guy's real story, did his daughter survive? Do you know?
I think she survived, but I have the novel, and there was a time last year I was reading a lot of Japanese books. I was like, I found that I could actually read them, and I was like, oh great, I can. I was reading a few books, and I was like, I'm going to try read Writhing Tongue. I was like, this is fucking difficult.
Bit of a tough though.
Oh, holy shit. I mean, it's old as fuck, to say the least. And then
probably
like,
a lot
it's
of
all
scientific
medical terms.
Right, yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, no. And there's not been any English translation. Which also, to my next point, this has never been released overseas. Yeah. This only ever had a Japanese release, which is mad.
I guess it doesn't have much commercial appeal.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Like, I mean, great film, but yeah, I don't think anyone in the international, like, you know, market is gagging for a film where you're watching a little girl have her teeth smashed out.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners, if I say a lot of them, I don't know how many there are, but
Two.
Well, I'm sure both of them will want to see it. But yeah, like, so we basically just had like an hour and 45 minutes of pure hell. Cut to the last scene, and it's like all happy and great again.
Yeah, I know what you mean about it. It's definitely going to be something that divides people. I personally loved it because it's like a sigh of relief.
That's definitely the way to put it.
And it doesn't take away from the trauma. It doesn't take away from the point of the film. And for me, that was like, I don't know, it made, I think if she just died, I think I would find it more exploitative. I don't know why, but I think having her survive, the film serves as a film that shows the horrors of being a parent without being so cruel that it feels unnecessary. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but it doesn't take away from the horror of the film. Yeah, and it feels, I don't know, it felt right to me the way that it ended.
And the first thing she ever wants is the chocolate bread. It's just so like childlike and so innocent, and it could be anything, but there's such a focus on it as well, which is great. And you're like, get your fucking chocolate bread, you deserve it. It's great.
I love as well just like the details of that, like the mother's like, she doesn't even like chocolate bread, you know, and she just like wants it as this like insane kind of craving after this experience. It's great.
So there we go. That was Withering Heights.
Withering Heights?
Writhing Tongue.
Writhing Tongue.
Yeah. So
we have to rate it on a
fucking hell.
I will say, before we get into like talking about that, I would say that this film is like a minor masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
I reckon. I really feel it is. I think it's like a incredibly well made film, and it's kind of unlike anything I've seen before.
Definitely.
I think if you have an interest in Japanese films, like, you should definitely try and track this down. It's like, it's beautifully made, incredible performances. We've only really talked about the girl, but the father, I recognize the actor, Tsunehiko Watase.
Okay.
I mean, you would have seen him before in a few classics.
Oh.
He's in like some really famous stuff. He's in one of the Battles Without Honor and Humanity films. But more importantly, he's in Andromeda, Takeshi Miike's classic.
A great film.
Yeah. And he's in one of my legitimate all-time favorite movies, Rex: A Dinosaur Story. A Dinosaur Story. The
Santa, the Christmassy thing?
The Christmas dinosaur movie.
That's your favorite film?
Not my favorite film. One of my favorite films. Right. Yeah, so he is really good in this.
He's brilliant. The mum was great. Everyone was
fantastic.
brilliant.
It's a really great film.
This I watched this for the first time last year, and it was one of my best watches of the year. And I just thought, how has this not been talked about? Because it's so bizarre, because like you said, it's a drama film. It's not a horror film, and it's not made as a horror film. It doesn't feel like overly exploitive enough to be a horror film. But there's that line, it goes so far beyond being a drama that it is like a horror film. The fact that it just is never spoken about.
I wonder, I feel that might change. I feel like if that got an international release, like if it got released in America, I think it very quickly would become a much more talked about film.
I think so.
I feel like it's probably already on the way to getting to that point. there's a lot of reviews if you look it up. Like, there's no bad reviews of this film. Yeah, it's... I think, you know, maybe in a few years it might have some kind of research.
Well, you guys, you heard it here first. So, on the wrongometer.
The wrong feels very wrong to use the wrongometer for this.
I'll tell you what, though, I feel like...
We should explain what the wrongometer is again, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
Do you want to explain it?
I feel like you have a better grasp on what the wrongometer is.
No, I'm asking you because I've forgotten how we explained it.
It's what is it? It's not.
It's very broad.
It's not leveling how fucked up a movie is. Just like this shouldn't exist.
Yeah. There shouldn't exist of it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's difficult because I feel like this film totally should exist. It's a fantastic film, but it is so wrong on so many levels.
It does things that shouldn't happen.
Shouldn't happen.
In a film.
It shouldn't happen. I think the fact that someone actively like sought out to make this, and I mean it's a big budget production as well, but it is so fucked up, and it breaks so many taboos and goes way past anything than I think anyone was really expecting to happen. I would give it a 10.
A 10?
10 on the wrongometer.
I mean, it's a hard one because I feel torn between... Yeah, you're right. Like, it does a lot of things that just shouldn't happen. I've never seen anything like it in any other kind of film. I guess the closest I've seen to that is maybe The Exorcist in terms of how a child actor, like the kind of trauma they're put through. But at the same time, by the end, I kind of understood the purpose of each point. So I don't know. I'm gonna go for an 8.
An 8. It's still pretty high on the wrongometer. I'll take an 8. I'll take an 8. Well, I'll tell you what though, it only took us making a fucking podcast to you watch it.
Yeah, I really didn't want to watch it.
I've been telling you, fucking watch Writhing Tongue for the last like 6 months.
It's just not, I've never been in the mood like to, because the way you described it to me was like watching a girl die for 2 hours, I think. That was, so I actually expected her to die at the end. So the whole time I was watching it, I was just so depressed. And yeah, it's not a feel-good movie.
No.
I don't even know when you'd ever be in the mood to watch. Like, it's a great film. But yeah.
It's kind of like that. When I first watched Dancer in the Dark, when I was maybe like 20 or something. Say one about Lars, he can be a bit of a prick, and he has a tendency to push buttons for the sake of pushing buttons. But I remember when I first watched Dancer in the Dark, when that last scene rolled, finishing the end credits finally rolled, I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was just like, fucking hell. And I needed some time to like regather myself. I feel like I haven't had that since watching Writhing Tongue for the first time. It just left me exhausted.
Yeah.
But again, like, it's not a film that I would want to watch multiple times. Like, oh, you know what would be fun? Let's watch Writhing Tongue. It's not, you can watch it once and then you'll be like,
popcorn out.
Let's just bury this DVD for a while. Yeah,
no, I agree. Probably since Dancer in the Dark as well. I think I watched that. I think I watched that for the first time like maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, it's a similar kind of vibe to that. The film I watched that gave me that feeling was Irreversible.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I never want to see that film again. I watched it when I was like 17, 18? I don't know, whenever that came out. And yeah, just, I was like, yeah, that's enough. Don't ever need to see that again. No thanks.
No fire extinguishers in my house.
Well, for next time.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, this is again going to be another breakneck tonal shift.
Okay, good.
So we've gone Mad Foxes.
Hey.
Then we've dived into hell with Writhing Tongue.
That's him.
And I'm going to pull us out of hell. And we're going to... Oh, there's a little bit of hell in the next one as well. You'll see. We're gonna be watching next time Peaty Wheatstraw.
Peaty Wheatstraw.
Peaty Wheatstraw. Have you ever heard of it?
Is Wheatstraw one word or 2 words?
Is Wheatstraw? Oh, Wheatstraw is one word.
Okay, Peaty Wheatstraw.
It's the name of the main character.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Rudy Ray Moore?
No.
Oh, you're in for quite a treat.
I don't trust you. All right. Peter Wheatstraw.
Yeah. See you for PD Wheatstraw.
All right, let's do it. All right.
Follow Show Me Something Wrong on Twitter at SMSW Podcast, please.